This is Epic Book Recaps, a podcast that offers complimentary audio summaries of influential non-fiction books, making learning a smarter experience. How to Talk. So Kids Will Listen and Listen. So Kids Will Talk by Adele Faber, Elaine Maislish. Once upon a time, you might have seen little ones throwing mega tantrums in fancy stores or yummy restaurants. They would wail and scream at the top of their lungs, making everyone's ears go bonkers. Their poor parents would try everything to calm them down, but nothing seemed to work. Frustration started to bubble up, and the parents would raise their voices, begging for some peace and quiet. But here's the thing. The problem isn't just the kids being loud, it's the parents not knowing how to talk to them properly. Instead of hollering or threatening them with scary punishments, there's a secret trick to encouraging good behavior. It's called empathy, and it's super-duper important. As parents, we can help our little ones listen and develop good habits by showing them love and strength. Being nice and understanding is the key to creating a happy and caring world for our kids. We grew up with parents who told us not to feel certain things, so it can be tough to speak the language of empathy. But if we want to build awesome relationships with our kiddos and help them become responsible grown-ups, we have to learn how to accept and understand them. When we talk to our munchkins with empathy, something magical happens. We build a trusty bridge made of love, respect, and understanding. This bridge not only helps us deal with their current behavior, but it also teaches them important skills for life, like being aware of their own feelings and being kind to others. So, with the cool tips and clever ideas in this summary, you'll become a super parent, ready to bond with your little ones in the bestest way. Together, you'll create a future where they can express their emotions without causing chaos and treat everyone with love and care. Isn't that just totally awesome? Calling the unsaid things. When we're all grown up, it really stings and makes us mad when nobody cares about our feelings. It's much easier to talk about our problems when someone actually listens and understands what we're going through. And guess what? Kids feel the same way. They can help themselves if they have someone who listens and gets them. First things first, learn to give your full attention when your kid wants to talk. It's no good if you pretend to listen, but your mind is somewhere else. Stop what you're doing and focus on them. You don't even have to say anything. Just being there quietly shows that you care. Next, instead of asking questions or giving advice, say something that shows you understand their feelings. Kids can't think straight when they're being questioned or blamed. Just a simple, let me think, or I get it can make a big difference to them. For example, if your kid says they're tired after school, you can simply say, "Oh, I'm sorry, sweetie. I can see you're really tired." With the right words and love, you can help your kids think for themselves and come up with their own solutions. Last but not least, don't ignore your child's feelings. Give those feelings a name. When you name their feelings, it shows them that you understand what they're going through. And be specific. Kids feel really comforted when they hear the words that describe their emotions. For instance, let's say your kid comes home and tells you, "My math teacher yelled at me," and the other kids laughed. You can name this feeling embarrassment. Instead of just saying, "I know how you feel," you can say something like, "Wow, that must have been super embarrassing," or "It sounds like you felt really embarrassed." Remember, how you say things is just as important as the words you use. Let's talk about being in harmony instead of having a bossy hierarchy. Parents often get frustrated trying to make their kids behave the way they want them to. It's really tiring and can be super annoying. Grown-ups usually just want things to be tidy, organized, polite, and routine. But kids couldn't care less about all that. The problem is, parents and kids want different things. Think about it. How many kids would choose to do things like brushing their teeth, saying please and thank you, or even changing their underwear? Some of them don't even bother wearing them. Parents spend a lot of time and effort trying to make their kids fit into society. But the more control parents try to have, the more kids resist. Adele Faber might have seemed like the enemy to her kids because she made them do things they didn't want to, like brush your teeth, cover your mouth when sneezing, be quiet. It got so bad that the child thought, "I'll do what I want," and the parent responded with, "You'll do as I say." And the fight goes on and on. Trying to control everything steals away the joy of being a parent and damages the special bond between parent and child. It's definitely tough to get kids to cooperate, but as a parent, you should never call them names, accuse or blame them, threaten them, or use any scary tactics to make them do something. These approaches don't work and can hurt a child's self-esteem. So, can you get your kids to cooperate without making them feel bad or leaving them with yucky feelings? Well, the answer is yes. There are so many different ways to do it, and we're going to learn how. Magical invisible strings are here to help guide your little ones without ever pulling on them. Instead of getting upset and yelling, we can use a special trick called observational talking. Instead of saying, "You haven't taken the dog out for a walk all day," "You don't deserve a pet," we can simply tell our child, "I saw Jasper pacing up and down near the door." You won't believe it, but your child will magically take the dog for a walk right away or very soon after. This special way of talking helps your child feel responsible for their actions without any mean words. It's like a secret code that gently encourages them to do the right thing without having to demand it. Did you know that sometimes our children find more motivation in the quiet moments between our words than in long lectures? It's true. When we describe a problem without blaming or being mean, we show our child respect and help them become better. They can think about what they did wrong and come up with a plan to fix it. Next, when you want to remind your child about something, try using just one word or a short phrase. Kids don't like long explanations and speeches, so it's better to keep it simple. Instead of going on and on about how you always have to remind them to put on their pajamas, you can just say, "Kids, pajamas." Easy peasy. This quick way of talking is efficient and lets your child make their own choices. It's like a friendly nudge that encourages them to take action without feeling overwhelmed or bossed around. When grown-ups describe a problem, it gives children a chance to figure out what to do on their own. They become super smart problem solvers. Oh, and don't forget to talk about your feelings too. You can be honest and kind when telling your child how you feel. Keeping your emotions inside can make you explode later, and we definitely don't want that. Lastly, did you know that written words can sometimes have a special power that talking doesn't? You can leave little notes for your child as reminders or even hand them the notes directly. It's like a magical message just for them. So remember, let's use our magical invisible strings, speak with kindness and understanding, and watch our little ones grow into amazing people. Changing course, not crushing spirits. No matter how super-duper awesome your parenting skills are, kids will always act like kids and sometimes go a little off track. It's totally normal for them to ignore what you say or, even defy it. When this happens, most grown-ups tend to punish. But guess what? Punishment doesn't really work. Seriously, think about it. Has anyone ever punished you and you were like, "Yay, I'll do what you want now"? Probably not. Punishment doesn't just not work, it's also a big distraction from the real issue. Instead of feeling sorry and learning from their mistakes, kids start thinking about revenge. Not cool, right? So how do you get your kids back on the right path without punishing them? Well, one super-duper effective way is to show them how to be helpful. Let's say you and your kiddo go to the store and they start running all over, making a big mess. Of course, you'd be upset and try to get them to behave. But here's the secret. Every time your child messes up, there's a chance for a lesson. And not just for them, but for you too. Instead of getting all mad and saying, "Oh boy, you're in big trouble when Dad gets home," You can simply say, "It would be so helpful if you could pick out 3 big oranges for us." See? You're encouraging good behavior and showing them how to be helpful. You can totally express your disapproval without attacking their character. Instead of saying, "You're acting like a wild animal, no TV for a whole week," you can tell them, "I don't like what's happening." It bothers other shoppers when kids run around like that. Did you know? In a study from 2012, the super-smart Professor Elizabeth Gershoff found that more than 80% of mummies spank their kids from kindergarten to 3rd grade. Whoa, that's a lot. Letting go takes super-duper courage, like a superhero. Kids are like magical beings with their own special powers, like having their own tastes, feelings, dreams, and desires. So, as a parent, you need to stop thinking of your child as just a tiny version of yourself or a little copycat. Being a parent means helping your kids grow and become independent superheroes too. They need to learn how to do things on their own and be able to survive without you. You can teach them to be independent by giving them important jobs, letting them figure out their own problems, and allowing them to learn from their mistakes. You might be thinking, "But what's wrong with helping my kids tie their shoelaces or keeping them from making mistakes?" They're still learning and they need us. The problem is, if your kids always depend on you, it can cause big problems in the future. They may start feeling grateful at first, but later on, they might feel really sad and worthless. They might feel like they can't do anything on their own, and that can make them really unhappy. It's important to find a balance between being there for your kids and helping them become independent superheroes. Luckily, every day gives you a chance to teach your kids how to be independent. Here are some fun ways to help them take charge of their own lives instead of relying on you for everything. Firstly, let them make choices. Even little choices like what to wear or what to have for breakfast can make them feel in control of their own lives. It's like giving them their own superpowers. Secondly, show them that you respect their struggles. When you support your child and believe in them, they'll have the courage to face challenges on their own. Clap and cheer when they try their best, even if things don't go perfectly. Let them know that it's okay to make mistakes, because that's how we learn and grow. Instead of always jumping in to save the day when your kids have a problem, give them a chance to figure it out on their own. It might be hard for you, but it will help them become even stronger superheroes. And remember, don't ask too many questions. Listen to your kids with curiosity and let them talk about what's on their mind. It's like having a secret superhero conversation. So, let go of your worries and help your kids become their own amazing superheroes. They have the power to do great things, and you have the power to guide them on their incredible journey. The magic of words. Most people in today's super silly society are way faster at being mean than being nice. Can you remember a time when you were leaving a parking spot and a stranger said, "Thank you for giving me this spot"? Woohoo, I got one. Haha, it's probably hard to recall because that's not something that happens often. But imagine if you made a mistake and took up more than one spot. The next driver would totally freak out and start throwing insults at you. That's just how things go in our funny society. People take working together for granted and jump to judge you for one little mistake. In the same silly way, the world loves to point out what's wrong with your kiddos. But guess what? It's up to you, as their awesome parent, to change the story. It's your job to tell them all the amazing things about them. Our words are like invisible paintbrushes creating a portrait of our children's incredible identity. So, choose your colours super carefully. You definitely don't want to risk losing or giving someone else the responsibility of your child's self-esteem. Self-esteem is like a secret superpower that helps your kiddos succeed in school and achieve their big dreams. When they feel confident and safe, they can do anything. All the cool skills we talked about can help your child see themselves as a totally awesome person. But you can also help them build a positive and realistic view of themselves by giving them lots of praise. Whatever you say to your kiddos will stick with them forever, like little reminders when they feel unsure or down. The best kind of praise is what Adele Faber and Elaine Maslish call descriptive praise. Instead of just saying, "You cleaned up your room," "Good job," you can describe all the cool things you see and feel. You can say, "Wow, I see you put so much effort into cleaning your room. It looks super organized and makes me so happy when I walk in. I'm seriously impressed." When you praise your children like this, it helps them learn to praise themselves too. It also helps them become more aware of their own awesomeness and appreciate all their special qualities. Isn't that just totally tubular? On your journey as a parent, one of the super-duper important things you've got to do is help your kiddos through their jumble of emotions. It means you have to be really, really good at listening and understanding how they feel. But wait, there's more. You also need to help them be independent and feel super confident about themselves. Oh, and preparing them for being a grown-up means teaching them about being responsible and accountable. Listening with all your heart is like a secret power in this whole process. When your little ones want to share their thoughts, make sure you give them all your attention. Forget about what you were doing and really focus on what they're saying. You don't always have to say something back. Sometimes just being there and showing them you care is enough. Remember, kids really take in what their parents say. If you use mean words or labels that make them feel bad, they might start believing it about themselves. So, to make sure they feel good about who they are, it's super important to use nice words. Praise them when they do something awesome and help them see their strengths and efforts. Oh, and don't stick yourself to just one kind of parent label. You can be all sorts of parents: strict, loving, silly, or patient. Being a parent is like a super-duper challenge that tests your strength, brain power, and perseverance. It's important to always keep learning and growing on this adventure, but guess what? Sometimes, even superheroes like parents can mess up. When that happens, remember to be kind and understanding to yourself, just like you would to your kiddos. Being a parent isn't about being perfect, it's about growing, understanding, and showing love. So, here's a fun game for the next 2 weeks. Instead of yelling when there's a problem, try describing it calmly and just noticing what's happening. Let's see how that makes your relationship with your little one even better.